So today we are reading Hollywood starlet Marilyn Monroe's poem. So I have two images here. One is the left hand, which is very accurate. The poem lines, everything is being seen, and one is the right hand. Now from the right hand, the shape of the hand, the fingers, etc. is the same, and we can see that the main fate line comes from the Mount Moon, which has to do with celebrity success. So here we will only look at that on the right palm and mainly focus on the left palm because it's very clear. Now there are so many lines cutting the lifeline. If you see, these are called the tension lines, so this means this person takes a lot of stress, and there are many lines overall, so many minor lines overall, so this person has issues with nervousness, and that's why maybe she became a drug addict due to these reasons, because mostly when you see them only cutting the lifeline and not the fate line or the headline, meaning that the lifeline itself, if we see, let's see, the lifeline itself is not that strong. If you see, it's being cut into tiny pieces, so this means that the person themselves, their health is very weak, and they shouldn't do hard drugs or anything like that, or smoking, heavy drinking. These all things lead to the person's constitution already being weak and being made weaker by this. So lifeline wasn't strong, so not surprised that she died at the age of 36, even though the lifeline is going all the way till the end, but it's very weak. So people with weak lifelines usually have health problems, and if they have these lines, this means mental health problems, so like depression, anxiety, etc., because they'll be cutting it. Now let's look at the other aspects of our palm. We will see that there are two fate lines. One fate line is coming from the wrist, and the other fate line is coming from a travel line, this travel line, sorry, here. So here we see that this is the secondary fate line. Now this secondary fate line is of the marriage because it's rising at about the age of 28. If you see here, it's rising around here and from 28. So when it comes from any line from here, it means that some type of marriage agreement, some relationship happened. So she was married to Joe DiMaggio, who was a baseball star, at 28. So you see the accuracy of palmistry. So there it led to a very substantial marriage. And if we see here, there are also problems with the marriage. If we see, there's one big line, two big lines actually, and you will see here are three marriage lines. She had three marriages overall. So you see that these all lines are cutting, like the first one is cutting in the early 30, maybe at 30, and the other one is cutting at 34. I don't know the exact dates of the divorces, but around in the 30s, I'm not, because it must be that if she got even divorced to her third husband, that must have been around 34, because she died at the age of 36. So we see that these lines are getting cut. So whenever any line from lower Mars, because lower Mars is the area of danger, it's the area of aggression, if any line comes and interferes with the marriage line from here, that is also a sign of divorce. So we have the sign of divorce here, and overall we see the heart line, we see it's having island over here, island over here. So these are also related to health problems. This is maybe with Mercury, it's related to the lungs, and with this Apollo, it's related to the eyes. So maybe she had to wear glasses or contact lenses. And we also see that the heart line is also not very strong. It's starting from between both fingers, so the person makes good choices when it comes to love. The person is both practical and romantic, but if we see here that the person's heart line is also not that strong, it's chained. So chained heart line means flirtatious personality, and also weak eyes and weak lungs. So smoking or anything can even weaken the aspect. So if we see that her lines, her fate line is very good, both fate lines are good. Marriage lines are also strongly etched, three marriage lines are there, but her lifeline and heart line are not as strong. Now let's look at the headline. Now the headline is attached with the lifeline for the start. Now when it's attached, this means that the person was not independent in the early ages, but the person was like depending on other people. There's an island over here. So this means at the early stage of life, the person was also confused about what they want to do in life. There's an island of confusion. And then we see that there are if we see, there are multiple islands over here. This could be a head injury, this could be a mental health problem. So there are islands on the headline as well. So this means that the person had problems with the concentration on one thing. So these also led to other problems, because there are lines coming over here, maybe not cutting the headline as such, but still interfering with the headline. So there are tension lines over here as well. And she is extraordinarily sensitive. One You can see by the fingertips having sensitive pads, the headline and lifeline being joined as well. So extraordinary sensitive. And another aspect is the girdle of Venus. Now the girdle of Venus fully formed is this, but here we see the girdle of Venus is like broken, and it's also multiple. So hysteria problems. The person who's having hysteria, exceptional nervousness, would have the broken girdle of Venus. So there's that as well. So this also leads to the person, if they're in the wrong company, they will have the problems with the wrong company and drugs and addiction. So up till now we've seen the negative aspects. Let's look at the positive. First of all, we see that the Jupiter finger, the Jupiter mount and the Jupiter finger are long. This means an ambitious personality. It's a high set Jupiter finger, so this person is very ambitious and they climb to the top of their ambition. And then we see the first phalanges are a good length, so this means that this person had an intellectual capacity. She not only looked good but was also intelligent. And then we see that the Apollo mount is also taking space, which is the mount of beauty. Both mounts, if only one mount of either Venus or Apollo, only one mount is extravagant, is pronounced, then the person is attractive. But when both mounts are pronounced, this person is exceptionally attractive. Scarlett Johansson also has this bearing. So this means that the person is exceptionally attractive and one of the most beautiful people in the world, which she was. And so we see that this is a positive marking. And now let's also look at the fingers itself. The finger, even though Apollo is low set here, it's I think above the Jupiter finger. Both are long fingers, but here we see that the Saturn finger is not that long, even though it's bent. So this means that the person, and also the Saturn mount is not that strong, it's flat. So this means that the person was happy-go-lucky and optimistic, and the person was very non-serious about life. They took life as it came. And then we see the finger of intelligence is exceptionally long. If it's long, it goes here. If it's exceptionally long, it goes there. So this means that the person was exceptionally smart, intelligent, and high IQ level. And if we see the finger is low set, which shows early shyness in the life. If we see here, the most developed mounts are Venus, Apollo, Jupiter, and Mercury. Mercury is the mount of talent. So here we see she has musical talent as well. I think she sang as well. Musical talent, a lot of expression, expressive power, a lot of acting strength. So she had talent, which led to her being more successful. She also has many lines here. So this is a want of travel. Either she traveled a lot, state to state, country to country, or that she wanted to travel and was always in flux in her life. And then we see the thumb. Now the thumb is also of a good length. The thumb is long, it's reaching here, so it's of a long length. It's quite straight, it's not flexible, it's showing a stubborn streak. Now this shape of the thumb shows, when the thumb is shaped like this, it shows perfectionism. So she's a perfectionist, and also the lower phalange is vase shaped, so she is like diplomatic in her dealings with others. And then we see the phoenix eye here, which means that she had an interest in the occult, like astrology, numerology, and palmistry. So there's that as well. So here we see that she was raised in foster homes, and that's why there's an independent line of the fate coming from the rest. That's why she was going to the independent lifestyle. And then we see there are one or two Mercury lines as well, which point to her being getting the success. As I said, if there is not a strong prominent fate line or sun line, but a prominent Mercury line, that's better. The person gets early success because Mercury is the planet of commerce, the planet of money making. So that's how the person gets the early success in the 20s itself. We also see that the bracelet, the first bracelet is chained. So this shows an early life which is hard, full of hardship, and the person, though they get success, they get it after a lot of hard work. We also see the shape of the palm is squarish, which means the person is hardworking. So there's that as well. So we also see I'm not sure if she had any children, but we see a good Venus mount here, which shows that she could have had at least 2 children. I'm not sure if she had any children. And then we see there are multiple Mars lines, so this could depict the spouse or any friend who helped her a lot in her life. This is also like making the lifeline stronger. If we see the lifeline is weak and composed of fragments, but here we see 2 strong Mars lines, so this gives protection. But in the end, she was ruled a probable suicide, so she couldn't handle the torment of life itself. But overall, a very ambitious palm, a very strong headline as well. If you see the headline's length is going all the way towards the first mount of the moon, which means intellectual and creative mindset and we also see a good heart line as well. So she although she was balanced between her head and heart, there's a large quadrangle in between. So we see good lines of everything, especially of the fate lines are very good. There are double fate lines, but overall she couldn't face the horrors of life, because that's why the lifeline is weak and there are so many lines coming over here. So that's what led to her mental problems. So very interesting, and thank you for the person who suggested this poem. Guys, if you like this video, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next video.